Peace and love, fam. Peace and love. This is Moreno Bey. Peace and love, fam. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I'm glad to see y'all in here today. I see I got 7 viewers so far. All right, check this out. Check this out, fam. This video right here is entitled C-sections, fibroids, and Black women. All right. I'm going right into it because I've had a revelation. And I just got to go into this topic. My disclaimer off top, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not training to be a medical doctor, but I have done a lot of research lately in this regards. And it's been on my mind lately because I see so many young sisters and so many so-called Black women having cesarean sections and fibroids. And what really got me amped to do this video is I know a young sister that's a friend of the family. She's about, I believe she's 22 or 23. She's pretty young, fairly young. And she just had her first child. And they told her she had to have a C-section. And I remember that entire day before she actually had the child, it was just, something was over me to just say, you know what, talk to her folks about it, whether something can be done or not. I just wanted to talk to them about it. And this was about, I guess, about a month ago. But anyway, I remember back in the day, like my grandmother on my father's side and my grandmother on my mother's side, they all had close to 10 children, and this wasn't that long ago. This was about 50 or 60 years ago. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to figure out what happened between that time when mothers were having children naturally versus now when it seemed like every time one of these young sisters go to their hospital that they ever have a C-section, a violent butchering, And I also thought this too. When I was younger, I had my first child about 20 years ago, and I remember her mother had to have a C-section. She had no known medical issues. She wasn't obese. Some people say, well, you can be obese or you have medical issues. It could be several factors that may cause a C-section, right? But she had none of these issues. And she had to have a C-section. Of course, I was incompetent. She was incompetent. So we really didn't know. So now that I have some sort of awareness regarding why isn't the child being birthed naturally anymore, like back in the day, okay? It's been bothering me lately. So I said, you know what? I'm about to do a little research on this and see, can I come into something? First, I thought it was some sort of just strictly about financial gain, which it probably is, And also I thought about maybe it's some sort of sorcery that's being performed by the modern medical doctors. That's, some sort of disconnection between the child and the mother, or maybe they could be keeping some sort of organs, or who knows? We really don't know. We really don't know. But that's what prompted me to do this video because it's been really bothering me. It's been really bothering me. So as I come into my research, I think I was somewhat right regarding the financial gain and just basically, just butchering them up, butchering the women up, because again, if you look back and you think back in the day, women had midwives and they had their children naturally. I know my mom had me as a natural birth. And I mean, like today, like I guess about 20 years ago, maybe 20, just a little bit over 20 years ago, up until now, C-sections are heavy. And of course, the sisters also have, a lot of sisters have the issue with fibroids. And I've been trying to figure that out as well, because I know so many sisters that have this issue. They have heavy menstruals. bad cramps. I mean, it's really ridiculous, you know. So I'm just trying to get down to it. So again, what I'll do is I'm going to go into the C-section, a little research I've come into. I'm going to read a little something to y'all about the C-section, and then I'll go into this book right here. Go into this book right here about fibroids. And we'll kind of go into a few things. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not training to be a medical doctor, but one thing I do know is medical doctors do have two priorities. That's to prescribe synthetic medication and perform surgeries. I do know this. So it may be a monetary gain thing, and then it could be some sort of sorcery, like I said earlier, of removing certain things or disconnecting the child spiritually from the mother. Who knows? But I'm about to go into this source I got. The source that I'm about to read from regarding the cesarean section is from a website called afrometrics.org. Afrometrics.org. All right, now, y'all bear with me because I got a lot of reading, but this is serious because it's a lot of women that go through this. It's a lot of women that go through this. So y'all bear with me. I'm going to read up on this. I really haven't heard any people to like hit it like this. So I'm going to read this and y'all just bear with me. It starts off as the heading is Black Mothers and C-section births, commoditized oppression and existing violence. Okay. It was written in 2015. It was written by, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. It's Sureshi Jayawardene. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. But anyway, it starts off in 2010. Several media outlets like Essence and Time, as well as mainstream news sources like the Associated Press, reported that C-sections or cesarean section births in the United States were on the rise. Between 1996 and 2007, the cesarean rate in the US increased by 53%. And the pace of this increase accelerated from 2000 to 2007. So that go back to what I just stated about my oldest child. She was born almost 20 years ago, and this was around that time frame, okay? So it says, between 1996 and 2007, the cesarean rate in the US increased by 53%, and the pace of this increase accelerated from 2000 to 2007. In 2013, the C-section rate for the US was 32.7%, well above the medically necessary target stipulated by the WHO. In 1985, the World Health Organization, WHO, set the ideal rate for cesarean section births between 10 to 15%. Accordingly, healthy outcomes for infants and mothers are best accounted for within this ideal range. Anything beyond 15% is considered dangerous, as healthcare facilities and postnatal treatment may not be of the requisite quality to meet the needs of the greater volume. Now, here is the obesity thesis. Now earlier I just spoke about that she wasn't obese. She didn't have any known medical issues or anything, right? So here's the obesity thesis. This 53% increase in the US was reflected across all states, age groups, and ethnic and racial designations. The same news sources also highlighted that, quote unquote, Black mothers were most likely to deliver their babies this way, even in the case of low-risk pregnancies. In 2008, the cesarean rate for Black women was 34.5% higher than for any other group of women, right? In 2013, it had risen to 36%. The burning question remains, what causes so-called Black women to have more C-sections than any other racial group? All right. Researchers at the CDC and the National Center for Health Statistics appear unable to definitely answer this question. However, they, as well as other researchers, have relied on an obesity thesis to explain the discrepancy since Black women are more likely to be obese than quote unquote white or Hispanic women. They argue that women giving birth are older and heavier, and as such are faced with greater health risks to themselves and their infants. Now think about it. The mothers I'm speaking about, they all were young and they were not obese, okay? While this may be true for some women, there is little evidence to support this thesis in regards to the disproportionate number of so-called Black women having C-sections. Even if obstetricians find Black women's weight a concern, Sutherland's 2013 research on obesity in Africana communities demonstrates a more fundamental problem in metrics and mechanisms used to rate and compare Black women's physicality. She notes that these formulas are culturally incongruent and professionally known along white women's physical attributes, which are often different, not necessarily better than those of ethnically diverse women. Now, it's an issue. Whether you realize it or not, it's an issue. You know, I don't know if I'm the only one that's thinking about this. I mean, it may be weird because I'm a man thinking about something like this, but again, something got to be wrong because, again, my oldest daughter and my daughter behind her both were born through cesarean sections. All right, the mothers were not obese; they didn't have any medical issues or anything of that nature. All right, so let me go into C-section as an excisional violence. Okay, sort of like a butchering. In a recent publication, Dr. Amashakti Ani unveils the insidious and deep contours of social regulation associated with this practice of cutting, inherent to the long-standing practice of regulating Black women's reproductive capacities, given the glaringly uneven rates of C-sections among Black women. In 2015, it explains the importance of knowing all the risks associated with this method of birthing, gaining knowledge of traditional and ancient African birthing, practicing, and recognizing the intrinsic racism in the elemental level of our lives. In her assessment, cesarean section is akin to other forms of excisional violence, such as police brutality, fraternal murder, and mass incarceration directed at Africana people. She characterizes this phenomenon as tentacles of a larger political entity state, whereby they function to consistently contain Africana life and impede the endurance of Africana communities. Anu argues that the dramatic increase and ongoing overuse of cesarean section as a method of delivery among Black women is driven by a continuing history of commoditized oppression and exploitation on physical terms. These contentions are not misplaced. Now check this out, We're gonna do the numbers on it. It says, in fact, private hospitals are poised for making money, approximately $22,000 for a C-section. That goes back to what I stated earlier. I didn't know if it was a monetary gain type of thing or just some type of disconnection, or were they, getting some from the mother, such as organs, tissue, blood, who knows, all right? In fact, private hospitals are poised for making approximately $22,000 for a C-section versus $11,500 for vaginal delivery with C-sections than with vaginal deliveries. Additionally, C-sections are also cheaper for the hospital than vaginal birth after C-section, or VBAC, which requires additional medical staff and pre and postnatal care. All right, so think about it, people. Just think about it. Again, I'm not a medical doctor, but this is something I've been researching. Right? Check this out. A history of commoditized oppression. Unsurprisingly and yet disturbingly, today's reproductive struggles resemble Black women's circumstances during slavery. Contends that C-sections today are disciplined activity necessary to sustaining the system, similar to procreation under slavery. At the heart of colonial slavery was quote unquote, white masters' ability to exert control over Black women's reproductive labor. In 1662, when Virginia enacted a law differentiating enslavement from indentured servitude, the status of mulatto offspring was determined based upon the condition of the mother. Marking a dramatic departure from English common law, wherein the condition of the father determined the legal status of children. This law transformed, quote unquote, Black women's reproductive capacity into the means through which slave property was sustained and produced. Later, following the ban on slave importation in 1808, the enslaved labor force was more concretely replenished through Black women's childbearing capacities, which effectively became subject to social regulation rather than their own will. The use of legal means to legitimize and standardize racist practice come as no surprise, even in the case of Black women's reproductive labor. All right. So again, let's go back to international law. Whatever the condition of the mother is the condition of the child. So my whole point is this: the mothers are being attacked. And if the mothers are attacked, of course, the children are attacked as well. All right. The brothers are attacked and so on. So I'm going to go into the fibroids and read what I've come into with the fibroids, because it's a lot of sisters that deal with this issue. A lot of them don't want to speak about it. I guess because they feel like there's no remedy. But like I said, I just want to read something to you because you might run into this and it may be an alternative for you. All right. So let's go into the fibroid issue with the sisters. According to a recent study, more than 80% of quote unquote Black women and 70% of quote unquote white women have had developed uterine fibroid tumors by their late 40s. While the fibroid tumors are almost always non-cancerous, they result in over 200,000 hysterectomies each year in the United States alone. Quote unquote Black women were shown to have a higher incidence of fibroid tumors in general, and were also more likely to have larger and more tumors than any other ethnic groups. All right, so there's a reason for this, people. It's a reason, all right? Uterine fibroid tumors, commonly called fibroids, are becoming more common. Some fibroids do not cause symptoms and thus go largely unnoticed, but others can cause troublesome symptoms. The medical system can sometimes diagnose fibroids during pelvic exam, but ultrasound examinations are commonly performed so that an accurate diagnosis can be assured. Hospitals categorize fibroids depending on the location, and fibroids can cause different symptoms depending on where they are in the body. Many women live with fibroids and are able to maintain a normal lifestyle, but some experience intense pain, bleeding, and pressure that affect quality of life. Common symptoms of fibroids include very heavy and prolonged monthly menstruation, sometimes with clots. This is the most common symptom of fibroids. Excessive bleeding can lead to anemia and fatigue. Pelvic pain or pressure. As fibroids grow, they can put pressure on surrounding organs, which may cause pain or discomfort. Sometimes fibroids are accompanied by other illness, such as adenomyosis or endometriosis, which cause additional pain and complications. Pressure on the bladder and frequent urination, again, as fibroids grow. Abnormal pressure can be applied to the bladder. This will lead to excessive urination or even incontinence. Other symptoms of fibroids include pain in the back of legs and enlarged abdomen, sometimes being mistaken for pregnancy or weight gain, and pain during sex. Hospitals do not necessarily treat all cases of fibroids. Their guidelines state that treatment is necessary for fibroids that grow large enough to cause pressure on other organs. They grow rapidly, cause abnormal bleeding, or cause problems with fertility. The medical system has multiple ways to treat fibroid tumors, but many women found themselves undergoing surgery. Medicines. While the modern medical system currently does not have drugs to permanently shrink or cure fibroids, excessive bleeding often results in the prescription of birth control pills. Sometimes a temporary chemical menopause is induced using medication, resulting in a temporary reduction of fibroid size. Unfortunately, after medication is discontinued, the fibroids usually return to their pre-treatment size very rapidly. Medicines are also commonly prescribed for pain relief. All right. So I say look into it, people, because it's serious. It's a lot of sisters out here that's suffering with fibroids, and they have no idea, what caused it or why they have them, etc. Right? And again, back to the C-section thing. It's so many women out here modernly, sisters, that have cesarean sections, and they may not need to have cesarean sections because, again, 20 years and back, they were not having the C-sections like they have them now. So now you got to ask yourself, what is the true reason? All right, this is why we must have knowledge, people. We have knowledge. And y'all sisters, y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to really wake up, like for real. Y'all really got to wake up and treat your temple as a true sacred temple for real too. Because once I go into on this research, some of the things they do at the hospital to treat the fibroids, okay? They have a hysteroscopic resection. Fibroids that are located inside the cavity of the uterus and some that are located on the wall of the uterus can be removed by using a resectoscope. It is a telescope with a built-in loop that can cut through tissue. The fibroid is carefully removed, usually in an outpatient setting. All right. This is one medical procedure that they use. The other is called a myomastectomy, or the removal of the fibroids involves making an incision into the uterus and removing the fibroids. The uterus is generally repaired with sutures. It looks like I'm having technical difficulty, people. Hold on, I'm back. I'm good. I'm still here. I'm still here. All right, check this out. A myomastectomy. The uterus is generally repaired with sutures. Generally, a myomastectomy involves reaching the uterus through the abdomen. All right, another procedure, myolysis. This procedure works to destroy the myoma, which is the fibroid, by destroying its blood supply. A laser, fiber, or an electrical device is placed into the fibroid and is used to cut off blood supply to the growth. The dead tissue is replaced with scar tissue. This procedure often comes with complications such as adhesions, other organs sticking to the uterus. So look at the complications that's involved in this, Uterine artery embolization. This is the medical system's newest treatment for fibroids and involves placing a catheter into an artery in the groin and directing it to the blood supply of the fibroids. This causes the fibroids to shrink. And then you have a hysterectomy. Hysterectomy, the removal of the uterus, guarantees that there will be no more bleeding and that the fibroids will not return. Many women have a hysterectomy due to fibroids, okay? So what we'll do now is we'll go into stress management, all right? I know this is boring, people. I know it. I know y'all bored, but check this out. It's real, all right? It's real. So I ask you humbly to just discipline yourself with patience and understand while I'm coming with this video, all right? And I appreciate it. Because it's been on my mind, it's been on my mind. All right, stress management. While stress management techniques will not cure the fibroids, they can help a woman cope with excess bleeding and pain associated with them. Many women report that bleeding and cramping are worse than they are upset, and so stress management and relaxation helps them with these symptoms. There are many techniques that are used for this purpose, including meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, affirmations, hydrotherapy, music, sound therapy, biofeedback, and visualizations. All right. Now, we'll go into the diet and lifestyle. We'll go into diet and lifestyle, basically what kind of contribute to the fibroids. Again, people, if y'all just coming in, I'm talking about C-sections and fibroids, dealing with the so-called Black woman. Of course, we know that the women they call Black are Moorish women. All right. Diet and lifestyle. Some holistic practitioners believe a poor diet and a sedentary lifestyle can cause a buildup of toxins, contributing to fibroid tumors. Limiting intake of refined foods, dairy products, and caffeine are recommended first steps in helping your body heal and shrinking fibroids naturally. Okay. Other suggestions include applying castor oil wraps to the lower abdomen with a heating pad to clear congestion of lymph nodes, acupuncture treatments, and a diet free of meat and milk products. Now, this right here is where it becomes real iffy because people have a discipline issue when it comes to their so-called quote unquote diet, all right, or their eating lifestyle. But check this out. This is where it gets interesting. The bodily fluids of the first woman get transmitted to the second woman, and she could develop fibroids this way. What about a woman who develops fibroid that has only been with the same partner for an extended period of time? In these cases, we say that the man's blood and her blood don't match, says Master Naba. Traditionally, there are bloodlines that are not compatible with other bloodlines. Now, again, this is just my research, all right, but check it. If these compatible families try to unite, problems such as fibroids and fertility problems arise. The man's sperm, in this case, cause fibroids for the woman. According to the traditional African healing, a woman's body is no longer ready for sexual activity after she reaches menopause. In traditional societies where people have sex more for the production of children rather than for pleasure, a woman generally stops most sexual activities at this stage of her life. Her body's process in 60% of the cases. Unfortunately, there are many African remedies for fibroids that do not involve invasive procedures, surgery, or removal of the uterus. A combination of plants, a good diet, and a change in sexual behavior will correct the functions of the body, which will cure the fibroids. You cannot cure fibroids by acting directly on them because they will always come back. They start off very small, and it is only the large one that the medical system will treat. That unless she has a hysterectomy. The plant products we use in Africa aid in the harmonization of the body density, which will naturally rid the body of fibroids. In average cases, after just 1 month of herbal treatment, an increase in fertility and a reduction in fibroids is seen. Severe cases may need treatment for 5 months. Fibroids are becoming more and more common in today's modern world. Many women undergo hysterectomies to resolve the issues, but this drastic procedure is not necessary. Natural remedies for fibroids exist that will enable a woman to live a healthy and fibroid-free life. All right. So check this out. I'm gonna go back to if I were y'all, I would actually check this book out. It's a European guy, but he trust me, he's on it. He's on it. And look how much I paid for it. Look how much I paid for it. I believe when this book first came out, I think it was like 30 notes. I got it at like a secondhand store. All right. I'm gonna read some from his book, and I'm gonna come back. Well, I'm gonna read something from the book I was reading from, and I'm gonna go to his book to show you somehow it all intertwined. Now check this out about some of the things that contribute to fibroids. It's for the sisters now because y'all the ones having the issues with it. And sometimes, well, y'all not only have the issues, but whoever is close to you, they have issues as well, you know, because they have to deal with, I guess, the difficulties that you experience while having fibroids, okay? According to traditional African healing, fibroid tumors are nothing but tumors and can occur anywhere in the body. Traditional African healing defines a tumor as a growth that the body still recognizes part of the functioning of the system, while a cancerous tumor is seen by the body as a foreign object. Fibroids tend to occur in the female reproductive system more often than any other area due to the physical nature of the female body and the sexual activities a woman may have. According to African healing knowledge, fibroids in a woman are the result of sexual activities that her body is not designed for. All right. Specifically, a woman who has multiple sexual partners places herself at risk for fibroids. It takes at least 10 to 11 months for a woman to process a man's sperm per sexual encounter. I'm reading that again. Check this out. Specifically, a woman who has multiple sexual partners places herself at risk for fibroids. It takes at least 10 to 11 months for a woman to process a man's sperm per sexual encounter. When a woman has more than one sexual partner at a time or changes partners without allowing her body to purify itself, meaning without having sexual relations with a man for 11 months after her last sexual encounter with her previous partner, the mixing of sperm from different men causes her body problems, okay? If a woman is sexually active with multiple partners, there is a period of time where the bloodlines overlap. This is why fibroids are more common in the woman's sexual organs. This is due to the way a woman's body is processing sperm, which takes quite a long time to do. Other factors that play a role in the development of fibroids are body density and eating animal products, all right? A person who starts off with a thin body structure and who gains weight rapidly will end up with a diluted body density. This creates areas with hard core, which ends up developing into fibroids. The same is true of a bigger woman who loses weight too rapidly. It is the abrupt changes in the body density that also leads to fibroids, okay? Eating animal products are another risk factor for fibroids, especially the consumption of meat, all right? And animal products is combined with a change in the body's density, okay? A woman who eats animal products and who is losing or gaining weight quickly is almost guaranteed to develop fibroids, all right? It is possible to transmit fibroids from one woman to the next. This happens when a man has sex with a woman who has fibroids and does not shower or clean himself before having sex with another woman, all right? So again, this is something to think about, people. It's something to think about. I would say look into natural cures, look into your herbs. I got this book right here from a brother when I was in New York. Pretty good book, pretty good book. But it goes into, I mean, just all the herbs that you can deal with to deal with certain ailments naturally, okay? And as you can see, I kind of highlighted a few things. I won't read it. I'll just let y'all see it. So when the video pop up, maybe y'all can pause it. Because again, we got so many sisters that have issues, female problems, okay? So now, I'm gonna go into this European sun. Do we need medical doctors? All right, that's the question. Do we need medical doctors? Yeah, we need medical doctors. I'm gonna tell you why. And we also need natural healers as well. You know, everybody's thought process is not alike, okay? Of course we need medical doctors, we need surgeons, we need these things, you know. We also need to be able to understand that how our body works and how our mind controls everything about our existence, okay? That's why I wanted to go into this book right here. He has a section where he speaks about thought and how thoughts, positive or negative, it can pretty much lay out the pathway of your reality, okay? Now check this out. This is coming from a European. All right. It's coming from a European, but he's aware. It says thoughts are things. Okay. Your body is, in fact, a very powerful electromagnetic transmitter and receiver of energy. Every thought you have can have a powerful impact on the cells in your body. Positive, high vibration thoughts can rid your body of disease. Negative, stressful, low vibration thoughts can give your body disease. Science does not believe that thoughts can have any profound effect on your health. Medical science believes that thoughts could never alone cure or cause disease. However, it is interesting to point out that medical science cannot dispute the placebo effect. The placebo effect is when a person is given a placebo, which is an effect of nothing, yet their disease is cured. This occurs because the patient believes that what he is taking will cure the disease. His thoughts basically cause the cure. This happened in as many as 40% of the cases. Imagine up to 40% of the time a person with a dreaded disease cures himself with his own thoughts. Yet remember our friends at the FDA who say that only a drug can cure disease. But you got to remember, they're in strictly for profit. That paragraph, those couple of paragraphs, well, that paragraph I just read reminds me of a Bobby Hemmett video I saw once before in the lines of, he had some sort of ailment going on with him. And I at that time, I don't think he had anything to take for it, but like a peach soda or drink a strawberry soda, something like that. And he said when he drank the peach soda or strawberry soda, whichever one it was, he said he instantly noticed a difference. And eventually he was healed from whatever it is that he was dealing with, because he really believed that that did it, you know? So this is real. Your thought is real. Your energy is real. So that's why I always try to deal with positive people and, you know, to have positive outcomes. I try to stay out of negative and, you know, like a negative environment. I try my best to just stay in a positive environment, stay around positive people so I can be positive. You know, people that's on their high vibrational spirit. You know, that's what I want to be surrounded by at all times. So it all intertwined, because if you think about it, most of the quote unquote young Black women, think about it, they're young, they're having children young, and most likely the dad is not there. They're basically in poverty. All right. So they're in a stressful state of life, you know, and their thoughts are not making it any better. All right. It's not making it any better. So, sisters, y'all gotta like uplift yourselves, you know, surround yourself around positive people. Positive people. Work hard to do what you need to do in life. You know, get away from the negativity. Anything that's negative, get away from it. Get away from it. Stop sleeping with these young brothers too. You know, stop just sleeping with anybody. I see so many young sisters out here that got back. Next time y'all go out, do an experiment. Just look around. Just look around. Look at the young sisters with the babies. 9 times out of 10, there's no father with them in the store. 9 times out of 10, the father is not there in the store. It's just them and the children. So it's a thinking process. Women, sisters, stop sleeping with these young brothers if you know that this young brother is not going to be there with you or your child. All right. This can cut all that out. You know, think about your health for the long run. Because I know when I was younger, I've always exercised, you know, like just regular exercise, you know, walking, running, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, breathing exercise and stuff like that. And I still do it to this day, you know. And that's just to prolong my physical life while I'm in this plane. You know, that's it. You know, it's a good discipline. It's a good habit. So sisters, do that. Work out. You know, work out, eat properly, you know, stay away from negativity, because hey, at the end of the day, it's all on you. Like I was talking about the young sister earlier. Right now, the baby is not even a month old. The baby is not even a month old, and the father is not even there at all. At all. Okay. So, sisters, I hope this video is like kind of like open your mind up a little bit. You know, it's kind of hard speaking with the sisters when they have issues because, you know, I mean, I can't say if it's an ego thing or not, but the sisters are kind of tough to speak with, you know. But I try to come as humble as possible when I speak to my sisters because I know the things they go through. Because I know a lot of the brothers ain't about ish. I know that. I know that, but you can't focus your life on some dude. You know, you gotta keep forward. You gotta keep forward. You gotta, you know, think positive and do your thing because this is real. These people making, when you lay on that table, they making finance, they making money. When you lay down in that bed with that little young dumbass that ain't gonna be there for you, you up at night taking care of that baby. All right. So I'm not gonna make this long, but I got another live I may do tonight, y'all. I may do tonight. I'm going in. I got another video I gotta go in on something. It's about how our grandmothers, you know, quote unquote, told us we were Indians. And what do we think about that? Like, do we really understand what they were talking about? So y'all just be up and just kind of check me out because I'm gonna go in on it on this territory where I'm near, of course, Tennessee territory and the Mississippi territory, and I'm gonna break down like the Aboriginal counties, how they were named, um, the entire the Indian Removal Act. I'm gonna break all that down. So hopefully y'all stay tuned because I'm going in on it. You know, they might as well just give it up. You know, the so-called black folks are the natives of the Americas. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm about to cut out. You know, peace and love, but hopefully y'all sisters got some out of this. Hopefully the brothers got some out of it too. You know, all right, peace and love.